Monday. Today is day 16 of 90. Sticking to the promise that we made to ourselves with this live. This is going to be my conversation probably every time I do a live. I was trying to figure out what to talk about today. But actually, this week coming up, I have more structured topics because a couple of you guys reached out. Thank you for answering my poll when I asked, what do y'all want to hear about? But today we're going to talk about this race, y'all. We had a race today. As I was sitting here, I was like, girl, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about cycling race that we had today. That's why I think my title was The Race is Not Given to the Swift, I think it just said that part. But what I wanted to say was the race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but those that choose to continue to show up and endure into the end. So if y'all know anything about cycling, it's not easy. It is tough. And we were out racing today. Went out early to support the rest of my team. And my first race wasn't until 150. And if you don't know, now you know the sun is sitting up really high at 150. And then the second race was at like 350 and it was hot. But I was saying all that to say as I sit, I had a long drive home. It took me about an hour to get back home. I had a minute to like really process and think about what happened today. And sometimes not being arrogant or nothing like that, but those of you that know me know that that's never how I show up anyway. But really just giving ourselves credit, one, for showing up, and two, for putting in the work. And when I say the race is not given to the swift, oh snap, hold up. That's why we always have technical difficulties. But when I say that the race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but those that choose to endure to the end, like we all get to start somewhere. So tonight we're talking about this whole cycling journey. Just to give you guys a backstory, for those that don't know, because I don't often share the backstory. I started racing back in maybe like 10 years ago. How I started racing, let's talk about that. So myself, Roxy, Vet, and Ray. Was it Ray? It was four of us that was training with Leighton back at World Gym. And he will always be out riding on his bike. And then he encouraged us or suggested that we get a bike, right? So I was like, okay, all right, bet. So 3 of us actually went out and got a bike. Y'all couldn't tell me nothing. I went to Performance. The bike was $1,200. I paid $800. I was like, oh yeah, this bike is like that. I saved some money. I haven't ridden a bike since I was younger. So anyway, I got my bike or whatever, and come to find out, shout out to Roy. He may be listening or listen to this later. Roy picked my bike up. I called it Baby Blue when I brought it back home, and started riding it. And he picked my bike up and was like, this is not a bike, this is a truck. And I'm thinking, bro, what you mean it's a truck? I paid $800 for this bike, right? So it was heavy, right? But I trained on the bike. Fast forward, he showed us how to like clip in. And so if you know anything about cycling, you can choose to just pedal or you can choose the clip ins. And he showed us how to clip in. I remember this day like it was yesterday. I was outside in the parking lot. If you don't know, now you know your girl get bored real easy. And he had to get it. I believe he might have been training Roxy inside. So he showed us how to clip in. He let the bike go. We clipped in, clipped out, practiced that a couple times. I was good. So your girl decided to start riding around in the parking lot. And I was like, man, this is boring. So I was like, I'm going to ride to my aunt's house because she lived a couple miles down the street. Mind you, this is the first time I clipped in. So as I approached the intersection, I clipped out on my right foot and I leaned to the left. And you know what that means? I was like stretched out in the middle of the street. But everything's no problem. We fall down and we get back up. That's a real thing. So first of all, I couldn't believe that I was stretched out in the middle of the floor. I'm sorry, in the middle of the street. There's a difference from being stretched out in the street and being stretched out in your house on the floor. So the lady got out the car, and then another lady got out of her car. They were like, oh my God, are you okay? So I hopped up and I was like, it's okay. first time rider, first time rider. Got back on my bike and I got down the street and I was saying to myself, "Self, I know that you were not stretched out in the middle of the street. Nonetheless, it's all good." All right, so we go from that. We got over that. Then we went out to Haynes Point, and when we went to Haynes Point, if you guys don't know anything about Haynes Point in DC, it's a 3 mile circle. So it was cool at first. We went out and we rode the circle and rode the circle, and I'm like, this is boring. I don't want to. I didn't get a bike to ride in circles, right? So he will always share with us how they did these 20 mile, 30 mile, 40 mile rides. And in my head, I'm like, yo, that's a long time to be riding your bike. But anyway, I was tired of the circles, so I was like, I want to come out there with the big boys. And of course, I was warned that it's not easy, but it's doable. So we go out, started riding. I think we did like 20 miles the first time. I was dead afterwards, but I fell in love with ride. I think it was a challenge that I fell in love with initially, because if there's anything, as I shared before, if it's anything that I do that come easy, I normally am turned off or not really interested, if that makes sense. But this was a challenge, and I'm like, man, first it was 20 miles, and I'm like, man, y'all ride 40 miles. I want to ride 40 miles. And I started riding 30 miles, and I started riding 40 miles, and I started riding 50, 60, so forth and so on. And then one day, Carol Harris we were out riding one day, and she invited me to her race. And when I tell y'all, like, it was like love at first sight. And I believe it was Dog Days. Was it Dog Days or Bunny Hop? It was an Artemis sponsored race. And when I went, it was in August, and that's normally like the end of our season. I was like, oh, they do this? Oh, it was a wrap. I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. So I ended up training that winter and then, started racing that following season. And when I first started, it was really, really tough. Heck, whenever I did group rides, and y'all, it wasn't even like a real hill. If it looked like a hill, I was in pain. But I continued to show up over and over again. When I say the race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but those that choose to. And I say choose because it's all a choice. So I remember clearly having a conversation with Cliff. Only the cycling community would know who Cliff is. He was very strong, but what he said to me, and he didn't say, I was just sharing this with Dee, he didn't say it to discourage me, but he was just like, Crystal, big people don't normally win races. First I was like, you calling me big? But he wasn't. He was just sharing that, I'm tall, I was kind of like thick or whatever, or however we say it, slim thick. I wasn't slim thick, I was big. I was a big girl. And the seed that he planted, I'm like, bruh, in my head, like I said, he didn't say it to discourage me. He was just put me on notice that, this is not an easy sport. And typically, if you look at the people that's on the podium, they're normally slim and they're not always like really big like me. Okay. So when he said that, I was like, man, I'm a train. I trained. When I tell y'all I train. Because I was like, oh, my goal is to get on that podium. And I was able to do that, I think, 1, 2, 3. It was actually my third race that I was able to get on the podium. I'm just a true believer that when you show up and you put in the work, like, we're going to reap the benefits. And in that, you got to have faith in yourself. It's nothing like having, at the time I was being coached by, I was racing with NCBC. I was being coached by Brian. Brian, man, he's so funny. He would stand on the corner and be like, let's get it. As I shared when I played ball, I always, I had, all my coaches were males. And I'm like, tell me what to do and we're going to make it happen. Whether, I have the skills or not, we're going to figure this out. So that was really fun. End up winning, and it wasn't an easy race either, but this is why I say over and over again, and I believe that I am qualified to say this: mindset is everything, because I'm not sharing from a space of what people told me, though you can find that in the book, but these are different things that I applied myself. And it was a hill that the girl had to come up. I'm still, to this day, I look at it and I'm like, man, you did that. I often go back to that picture and I'm like, listen, you did this. You could do it again. But we have to, first have belief in ourselves. And then it's nice when you have other folks that believe in you too. But sometimes when we sit around and wait for other people, the peanut gallery, to believe in you, some of us not gonna make it because we're waiting on them. You gotta get in that mirror and be the first partaker. You gotta believe in your strength. You gotta believe in your commitment. You gotta believe in your ability, all that. And if you feel like you are not where you want to be, just work on it. Like I said, the race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but to those that choose to endure to the end. All you got to do is continue to show up and put in the work. Show up and put in the work. Show up and put in the work. So that was my beginnings. And then I raced my second year, and then unfortunately, my third year, going into my third year, I was in a car accident. So people ask, all the time, if you were so passionate about cycling, why did you stop racing? It was a car accident that, this was the reason I stopped. Guy T-boned me, like I said, didn't think I was going to be here today, but thank God I'm still living and still breathing. And then after that, for the life of me, through COVID, I jumped in a couple races here and there, but through COVID, I don't know why I didn't get on my bike. Like, it's so crazy. I sit here now, and when I came back, I'm like, man, it's all these people, where they come from. We did not have all these people cycling back when I started. So anyway, decided to start racing again last year, joined GII. I knew it was going to be a process. It still is a process, but I just have, like, I have my goals on my wall. And like I said before, you have to be the person that believe in yourself, but not just believe in yourself. There's a lot of work that got to be put in. And so fast forward to today. What's today? This is like my third race of the year. Man, y'all, it was hot out here. I think this is the hottest I've ever raced. But showed up. The team, even our whole team today did amazing. I just shouted out our ladies. They did great. And I'm starting to repeat myself. I am tired, but I wanted to make sure I did this live because I said I was sticking to this commitment. How we do anything is how we do everything, and I really want consistency to show up in my life. So this is one of the reasons why I committed to doing these lives every day for 90 days, which bring me to a point that I didn't even know I was going to talk about tonight. And I did hit on this last night. If we only showed up when we felt great, a lot of people won't show up. Like, you have to show up, Crystal, whether you're tired or not. You got to stay committed to the commitment. And like I said, normally how we do anything is how we do everything. And when I sat and did a self-evaluation, I was like, man, there's some things that I'm missing. And if I want to fill in those blanks, I get to show up differently. And this is one of the reasons why I decided to do this live for 90 days straight. I love to motivate people, encourage people, be the first partaker, lead by example, all of that. And I have to get myself comfortable with being behind the scenes and actually be willing to be seen, as Brene Brown talked about. But today was really interesting. Like I said, it was hot. I didn't even realize it until I was sitting here thinking about what I was going to talk about. I was going over my goals the other day with my coach, and I said, one of my goals is for next year is to get into a breakaway and just go. And we did that. We actually did that today. So we hit the goal a year prior to. Also, when I first started racing, so my first year, my goal was to win a race. We did that. I did that. The second year, my goal was to get into a breakaway. I did that. And then the third year was to get in a race and just leave everybody. I still have that on my vision board. Like, I want to have so much power and strength to just shift, and just take off. When I saw Alexis, this is years ago, when she did that in the race, I was like, oh, they do that too? Oh, yeah, I want to do that. So we can do anything that we put our mind to and that we're willing to work for. So this year, again, I've podiumed, but I have not won a race. Like, I have not come in first place yet. And that wasn't even on my radar for this year. My goal for this year was to just get back. I'm sorry, let me say that better. My goal this year was to do more races and just get more comfortable and kind of like, get a feel for the women that I'm racing against and just get a little stronger. And I wanted to get down with, shout out to me, drop 4 pounds this week because I wanted to be down 5 pounds by the time we raced, but I dropped 4. But that was my goal. Of course, I'm never showing up. I don't care who's in the race. I don't care how my week was. I don't like in my mind, I'm never going to participate in any event with the mindset of, oh, I'm here to lose. Heck no. Like if that's what you show up thinking, that's what you're going to get. And I understand like every race is not going to be won. There's going to be lessons and things of that nature, but I just choose to build my mind to be like, listen, whatever it is that we do, whether we're racing, this is just me. Anything that I do, I just want to be a winner in it. And a winner, like the meaning of being a winner is relative to the person that is speaking it at that time. It doesn't always mean that that you're going to end up on a podium. So, but yeah, but it was nice. It was really, really nice. And then don't second guess yourself. So we did the first race, right? I think it was 8 women in the. Was it 8 women in the race? It might have been 4 that were 35 and over, and 4 that may have been 45 and over. Ended up coming in third, and I was tired. I was tired, and it was hot. And the second race was we had one race in between, so we raced at 150. I believe it was 150, and then the second race was at 330. And in my mind, I was like, "It's hot." I was at first. I was telling myself, "It's hot. You're not gonna make it." But I was like, "Girl, if you don't get your life together," and so I locked back in. I always listen to some type of personal development to get my mind right whenever I'm about to race. So like during my warm up, I'm listening to Eric Thomas, or I'm listening to Tim Grover. These are people that's telling you like you can do anything that you set your mind to. So I have like several different artists that I listen to. I just put that I choose to put it in my head, in my ears, I'm sorry, and listen to it. So going into the second race, I wasn't going to do it. And I'm so happy I did. I was like, girl, you would have missed out on this $100. So I ended up coming in third, and I was like, I'll take the 100. And I got a chance to meet and talk to. Mm, this is going right back to the story. My mic keep turning off. I had an opportunity to meet and talk to some of the women that I was racing with, so that was a great conversation. But yeah, so I was like, self, if you would never, chose to hop in that second race, you would have never um, been able to see what it is that you could do. That's what I'm saying. My words is all janky, y'all, because I'm tired, very tired. So with that being said, I'm really excited. I'm excited for the team. I'm just excited for the rest of the season, and you know, again, just want to encourage. You may not be a cyclist. You may not, you can apply any of these things that I say in whatever part of your life that you need to apply. It doesn't always have to apply to the sports thing. This is just something that I do. But I really am excited to see if I continue to work hard and I continue to believe in myself and I continue to show up and I continue to press forward, mainly on the days when I don't feel like it, because it's not easy. But if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, and just staying positive. My prayers that my mind I keep a positive mindset, and I don't want to ever think that I've arrived. Like even with today, I'm learning to accept the cheers. I podium, got third place twice, cool. But in my mind, tomorrow we got to get back to work. Like there's so much more work to be done. So I never want to take my foot off the gas when it comes to that. Um, and to be honest with you, I don't even have a goal. I said I wanted to. I don't know if I have Cat One goals because they're really fast and you can only race in certain races. So I was like, girl, you better slow down so you can speed up. But all in all, we got the live done. I just wanted to share that the race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but to those that choose to endure to the end. So super grateful for everyone that came out, grateful for my team, grateful for just my coach. I just shout her out. We had a pep talk before. Really amazing lady. Sue. She was recommended to me by one of my cool friends, and man. So, all right. This how I know I'm getting tired because I'm starting to repeat myself. But I just wanted to share that. As always, guys, let's just stay committed to becoming 1% better every day. We can do anything that we put our mind to. Do not allow the bird that is flying over your head that's telling you that you are not good enough, that you are not strong enough, that you are not consistent enough to sit there and build a nest. Like, continue to trust your process. Every day is day one. I tell my clients that all the time because nobody quit on day one. We may quit on day 3, 4, 5, but when day one is here, nobody quit. So if you can renew your mind every day you wake up and say, you know what, today is day one. I got what it takes to become the champion that my soul desired to be. I promise you, if you stay that course, you're going to look up one day and you're going to be like, yeah, I'm the champion that my soul desired to be. So with that being said, you guys have the most amazing night because I'm about to go to bed. Love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow for day 17 of 90. Love you. Holla. I'm saying holla. I better find my... One day I'm going to be able to exit